Oh, now that's a beautiful view of your boat.
Thank you very much. Have a safe journey.
Yeah, thanks, Steffi. I hope so. Well, it started off alright today. It's lovely. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you.
Me too.
Stay safe. We're 165 nautical miles from Maria Sand, and we're heading north as much as we can. We've got some easterly winds which are pretty variable. And then the wind will go northerly sometime late tomorrow, and then we will go on to a port tack and head east. And then towards the weekend the winds will go west and southwesterly. That's what's we think is happening at the moment. It might probably all change. We'll just have to see how it goes. If the weather looks particularly nasty in the southwestern approaches suddenly, then we've always got Alcarina. We're not going too far because of these northerly winds, and we're going to have to east it, although sail as high as we can. We're not going to be all that far from northern Spain, but at the same time we don't want to be dragged into Biscay. All the systems are very slow moving at the moment, so the wind will slowly back. It's wind attack and heading east, which is the next decision to make. The Pacific reefer, who I don't think would have spotted me if I hadn't called him. Anyway, nice watch officer. Had a chat, he altered course to starboard. Had a heavy gust through, reefed the main, set the stays out, and we're down to very little wind at all. But I'm going to leave the reef in. I've reset the genoa, that's all. heading east-northeast. Just had a night of bashing to windward. We've got tomorrow and most of Saturday to do the same before we can tack onto starboard. Then hopefully the wind will back and we'll be able to lay a course for the western approaches. Respectable speed, not pushing it too hard. Double reef in the main and flying the staysail. And it's going to get windier. You eat less when you're underway, there's no doubt about it when you're offshore. I have cereal for breakfast with honey, banana, raisins, something quite healthy like this if possible. But the last couple of nights I've just been having a bowl of soup, but eating and drinking, however you feel. It's vital when you're underway. Well, that had 30 knots under it. It's just gone straight through. We already had a reef in and the staysail. Of course I put another reef in the main, but I was pretty certain a few minutes later we were going to be back down to 16. We've sailed overnight with a triple reef main and a staysail, and it's just meant a very quiet night, control and sleep. And although we're not tearing along, this isn't a sprint, this is a marathon, so still did 29 nautical miles between midnight and 0600. So last night a rather businesslike night, and now the third reef is out. So we have 2 reefs in the main and the staysail. Poor old Talisker still bashing her way to windward, but we should make a fairly good run today, I hope. Plugging away to windward. Got to keep standards up. Bit of washing up. So time for a lie down. Curious much. Well, I'm charging the batteries while we sail along here, and I have a passenger. To give a rough idea of where we are this morning. We're off the northwest coast of Spain. And there on my chart plotter as well is the ship. Big cargo vessel. It's called the Yasa Neslehan. And showing on AIS then, that's bound for Baltimore. so welcome that. It's dirty the sheets, having stayed the night. We have a slight emergency to attend to, so let's go and have a look. That is my AIS. She's the Ivor Bright. She's a tanker and she's heading for Gibraltar. You can see in the sharp plot exactly where we are. We're well outside Biscay. You'll see our track. That was our track outward bound south. Just expand that a little bit. It will show the whole of our track actually. So you will see the track comes out down all the way down to Madeira there, then across to the Azores, and then this is the passage we're on at the moment, which is nearly 1,000 miles already. And the little cross at the top of the picture here, that's well, it's a go-to I've put in, not a waypoint, high up on the western approaches. And that red circle there is the guard zone on the AIS. Here we have our weather, so we have our grid maps as to what's going on. Light northwesterly winds at the moment, but those are going to build tonight nicely. You see that going green, and we're going to be quite windy in the morning, which will give us a nice lift really. Here's our log. We left on the 8th and we're now on the 15th. Sleeping arrangements. So depending on which tack we're on as to where I sleep. A tiny little bit of water problem. This hatch needs to be, I just need to take it off and rebed it. I've done all the other ones, I didn't do that one. It's a very dry boat, I haven't had water in here before, so it's a little bit upsetting. We were going to windward in heavy weather and the boat took a battering. So this is very pleasant sailing conditions. So a rather more relaxing day than the last 3 days or so. School just before 600 hours. That had us scrambling to get some reefs, furl the Genoa and set the staysail. The ocean never goes to sleep. Time for a cup of tea. The wind's backed and strengthened a little bit. I suppose we've got about 12-15 hours of reasonable wind before it goes down to pretty much nothing. We're still a good 300 miles from Falmouth, and Talisker one's quite quick on this point of sail. We should be averaging 6.5 to 7, we've got about 17 knots over the deck. Wind speed. Uh, 70 miles in the last 12 hours. AIS target just received. He's making 11 knots. His cargo, Rotterdam. Yes, ocean ambition. This is sailing vessel Talisker 1, over.
Sailing vessel Talisker 1, ocean ambitions, go ahead.
Just wanted to know if you've seen us. We're off your starboard bow, over.
It's on port quarter, sir. Port quarter. Talisker 1, we are on your port quarter.
We're off your starboard bow, you're off my port quarter, over.
Yes, sir, that's right, sir, that's right.
Permission for me to maintain course and speed, over.
Well covered, sir. Can you shift to channel number 06, please?
06.
Ocean ambition.
If you need to alter course, you will, over.
Negative, sir. We'll be proceeding on the same course. I will proceed on the same course. I will be, at present we are well clear, right?
you've got better instruments than mine. My CPA is a bit uncertain, but obviously you're well clear. Many thanks for that, sir. Have a good watch.
Well copied. Will maintain same course and speed. Have a good day, sir.
That's the ocean ambition. On the ship heading south here. I'm going to start finding ships now. A few moments ago it got windy, so I threw in a second reef. Typical of the weather gods, the moment the second reef went in, the wind dropped. I'm not going to take the second reef out yet. It's sort of tempting, I know, but we were doing phenomenal speeds. Doing a consistent sort of 17, 18 knots over the deck, and then suddenly it was 25. Is there anything nicer than a beam reach? About 12 to 14 knots, crossing the deck and caressing the sails. Don't be fooled by this, we've had quite a busy day, really. Today we've had winds all over the place. We've had everything from 9 to 27 knots and lots of sail changes. Currently we've got westerly winds. There's 12 coming over the deck. We've got everything, we've got full genoa and full main, and we're doing 6.2 through the water. And she's very comfortable. And the sun is on my back and it's very warm. As I said earlier, we're a couple of tomorrow night at sea, and then the following night we should be approaching the Cornish coast. What the ocean tells me is how absolutely insignificant you are, you and your little ship, little sailing boat. 0600 on the 17th, and we're approaching the continental shelf, and that's where we are on the Land's End up the top. Ushant. Here we are, just onto the shelf. You see the wind is absolutely gone. Well, we're going well, 5-7 through the water, but we're not going quite so fast over the ground, and the reason for that is current. It's one of my favourite things, these books. I've got them for all parts of the UK. So Brings was 2 days ago, so the currents will be running quite fast, and there you see it. Today at 15:10, we're coming from this direction. You can see the currents are going to be really against us. But at 16:10, the current starts to drop off here. You'll see it. It's still running quite fast in that part of the channel, but it starts to drop off and head northwest. And then it heads north. So we're going to start getting a little bit, because we're heading in this direction, we're going to start to get a little bit of a lift. So that's 2000 tonight to 2210, which I haven't actually marked properly yet. But you can see it's still very much running. 2310, we just start to get pushed southeast, but we're still getting a little bit of a lift, and then we'll start to be pushed south again, but that'll be well after midnight tonight. So you get as much of a lift as you get held back by a foul tide. The yacht in very much underway mode. I really only occupy this space. Obviously I've got 2 places to sleep. Slightly larger, wider berth with the cockpit cushions against the table to offer some padding. The aft cabin is where I sleep in port, which is lovely and comfortable, big bed and everything. That's very important. Well, very important, hope never to use. Grab bag on the left, that's the yellow bag. Flares and 2 survival suits. Hope never to have to need any of that. That's the chart table. Forepeak pretty much closed off. Here we are sailing gently downwind. There you can see here the staysail is tucked in just behind the mainsail. The wind's coming over on port quarter. But we're going 6.3, but sometimes only 4 over the ground, and that's because the foul tide against us, which will turn later on this afternoon and be in our favour. I'm just hoping this wind lasts a bit longer. It's eventually going to die to nothing. Here we are, last night at sea. And so this is one of the positions on this side of the boat where I can listen to the ship work while I've tried to sleep. And at times I've had to listen to her working very, very hard while the Atlantic has given her a fair old thumping. I can divide this voyage into two parts really. The voyage south from the UK to Madeira, and then the voyage north from Madeira getting home via the Azores. And it was as though the Atlantic gave us the going south. There was little to do apart from set the boat up and let her run. But getting home from there was quite a different business. That was hard work. Every mile had to be earned. This is what I have to get up for very quickly sometimes. Always wakes me up. CPA 0.6 nautical miles in half an hour. That's quite close enough for me. I'd explained that we'd had to work quite hard to get to Santa Maria from Madeira. Not a given at all. But the voyage from the Azores to here, every single mile has been earned. I'm not exhausted, I'm not tired, feeling reasonably good. I've managed myself very well on the trip, but that 1400 miles had to be sailed. Anyway, I must concentrate on this target. Now that the wind's finally died, have a look at the stacker pack here. People don't like them out in the ocean because they flap about. But ask your sailmaker to make it so that you can roll it up tight. You can see these little straps here all along. You roll it up and you strap it up. First sight of land since the 8th, and that's Land's End.